Praise Pathways presents Understanding the Old Testament, Simplified Summary of Daniel. Our story begins in Jerusalem, where the young prophet Daniel and his friends are taken captive by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Despite their situation, they remain faithful to God, refusing to defile themselves with the king's food and wine. In a dream one night, Nebuchadnezzar sees a terrifying statue, which Daniel interprets. He tells the king the statue symbolizes 4 future kingdoms. Nebuchadnezzar is impressed by Daniel's wisdom and promotes him. Next, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of a large tree, which Daniel interprets as a warning of the king's impending madness. As predicted, the king loses his mind for 7 years before acknowledging God's sovereignty and regaining his sanity. In another incident, Nebuchadnezzar builds a golden statue, commanding everyone to worship it. When Daniel's friends refuse, they're thrown into a fiery furnace. Miraculously, they survive unscathed, showing God's protection for those who remain faithful. Years later, King Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's successor, sees a hand writing on his palace wall during a feast. Daniel is called to interpret the writing, which predicts the fall of Belshazzar's reign. That very night, Belshazzar is killed. Daniel later becomes an advisor to Darius, the Medo-Persian king, who takes over Babylon. Jealous peers trick Darius into issuing a decree that lands Daniel in a den of lions. Once again, God saves Daniel, and Darius recognizes God's power. Now, Daniel begins having visions. He sees 4 beasts, symbolizing future kingdoms, and a son of man given authority by the Ancient of Days. This is interpreted as a prophecy about the Messiah's everlasting kingdom. Daniel also receives a vision of a ram and a goat, representing the Medo-Persian and Greek empires respectively. The goat's broken horn and the subsequent 4 horns symbolize the division of Alexander the Great's empire after his death. In another vision, Daniel is deeply troubled by the suffering of his people. The angel Gabriel reassures him, predicting the end of oppression and the coming of an anointed one, or Messiah. In his final vision, Daniel sees a great conflict between the kings of the north and south, representing Seleucid and Ptolemaic kingdoms. Despite the turmoil, he is assured that God's people will be delivered in the end. Daniel ends with an affirmation of the resurrection of the dead, with some rising to everlasting life and some to everlasting shame. This serves as a reminder of the ultimate hope beyond life's trials and tribulations. Through Daniel's story, we learn that faithfulness to God can lead to divine protection and favor. It also reaffirms God's sovereignty over earthly kingdoms, and his ultimate plan for the world. Dramatic dreams and visions play a central role, serving to prophesy about future events and kingdoms. These predictions offer hope and assurance to the people of God during trying times. Daniel's resilience in face of adversity provides a model of faith and courage. Despite being in captivity, he never loses his devotion to God and continually seeks his wisdom. This book also emphasizes the concept of divine judgment, where both individuals and nations face consequences for their actions. It is crucial to remember this aspect of God's character, alongside his mercy and love. The book of Daniel presents a powerful reminder of God's control over history. Even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, God's plan is at work and will ultimately lead to his kingdom's victory. In a nutshell, Daniel's story is about remaining faithful in difficult times, trusting in God's sovereignty, and finding hope in his promises. His experiences serve as a beacon of faith, resilience, and hope in God's plan. By understanding Daniel, we see how the Old Testament ties into God's larger plan for humanity, reinforcing the themes of faith, prophecy, and divine sovereignty. It serves as a bridge between ancient history and God's future promises. Thank you for joining this simplified journey into Daniel. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we continue our exploration into the Old Testament with the book of Hosea. If you believe in the positive impact we're striving for, share this video with friends, family, or anyone you think might resonate with our message. Let's grow this community together.